It's true. The Force, the Jedi. All of it. It's all true.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Unleashed. I hope everyone is having a great day or night wherever you may be located in the galaxy far, far away. In today's episode, you will be getting my official summary of Thrawn Alliances by Timothy Zahn. In Monday's episode, I gave you my honest review of this novel, which of course was spoiler-free, but today I must give you that notorious spoiler warning. So, for those of you who do not want to know the nitty-gritty spoilers and fine details of this book, now is your time to click away. Alright guys, if you're still with me, then get ready for some awesome spoilers. And, without further ado, let's get started with the official summary of Thrawn Alliances. We start off with Anakin and Padme exchanging a brief conversation about her traveling to Batuu to assist her handmaiden who has gone missing in action. Anakin is reluctant to let her go, but he has another mission he must attend to for the Republic. Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Vader are summoned to Coruscant, where they are brought before their Emperor. At first, Thrawn thinks this is about the funding of his TIE Defender program over the Death Star project. Additionally, Vader wants to remind him of his failure on Atollon with the Rebels and how he let the rogue Jedi Kanan Jarrus escape with this mysterious Bendu's aid. But the Emperor has brought them here to let them know he has sensed a huge disturbance in the Force on the Outer Rim galaxy planet of Batuu. Thrawn suggests Vader head the mission while he returns to deal with the Lothal rebels. But the Emperor forces the two to team up and take Thrawn's Imperial Star Destroyer Chimera, with Thrawn in command of the ship with his knowledge of the unknown regions, and Vader to be in charge of the mission on the planet with his battle experience. He wants the Sith Lord to face his past of being a Jedi, and for the Grand Admiral to face his future in the Empire, where both of their loyalties are sure to be tested. After not hearing from Padme for a long period of time, Anakin has decided to take matters into his own hands and slips away from the Republic to go investigate her disappearance. As he and R2-D2 arrive on Batuu and start to come up with a plan, Anakin notices a mysterious ship flying near his hyperspace ring. He soon finds out that he is communicating with a Chiss warrior named Mithron Nurodo, but after failing to announce his name properly a few times, he resorts to calling him Thrawn. Anakin also discovers that this Chiss is on his own mission and has information about Padme's ship on the surface below, just outside of the city. Using caution, the Jedi Knight decides to team up with Thrawn and see if they can help one another's missions by investigating the planet below. When they arrive on the surface, Anakin and Thrawn have to engage with pirates and discover that Padme is not in her ship. They head to the local cantina to gather some information, and on their way, they discover the body of the handmaiden Padme was sent to locate. They head into the cantina and get into a bar fight and eventually get intel out of some thugs that they question. They realize Padme is no longer on Batuu as they fight their way off the planet to steal a pirate ship that has cargo with it. Thrawn and Vader are en route to Batuu when they are suddenly ripped out of hyperspace. Taking some time to do some analyzing and debating, they discover that someone is blocking them and they are forced to jump to a planet called Mokija. Thrawn takes this opportunity to hint at Vader that they have been here before, talking about the planet's 10 moons. Vader denies this by saying that nobody else on the Chimera has been there besides Thrawn. In due time, they are able to make their second jump to Batuu, where they keep the Star Destroyer out of range, while Thrawn and Vader go together to investigate the planet below. We now get to follow Padme on her journey as she lands on Batuu and makes her way to the cantina to look for her handmaiden. There she talks to the bartender to get some information of her own. She eventually discovers the fate of her handmaiden and knows she must have been doing something important to be killed like this. After realizing that she is no longer safe on Batuu, she is able to steal a ship, and while taking off, she is shot at and pursued, eventually her ship being damaged, and she is forced to crash land on the nearby planet of Mokibja. To her surprise, she is discovered by some suspicious locals who are factory workers, and using her skill in politics, she is able to bribe them into giving her shelter. Since her comm still isn't working, she's able to convince them to send a message to her Uncle Anakin, who will pay them handsomely for keeping her safe. Using the stolen pirate ship loaded with cargo, Anakin and Thrawn make their way to Mokibja as well, using the guise of the ship to be traders to be granted access to land at the factory below. They are met by a Duke of Sereno who is in charge of the operation. Our two heroes are trying to gather as much information as they can, but are quickly discovered when Anakin uses the Force and his lightsaber to make a mess in the courtyard of all the battle droids. They are locked up, and R2-D2 is taken to have information extracted out of him. Meanwhile, Thrawn and Vader land on Batuu, where they begin their investigation. Vader notices some new local thugs and insists that they head into the all-familiar cantina. After speaking with the bartender and engaging these thugs in deadly combat, the two head back outside to notice more aliens evacuating houses with large canisters. They are loaded into ships and being flown off very quickly. The Chimera is having its own trouble above the planet of Batuu. Vader's finest legion of stormtroopers and Thrawn's personal assassin Rook are sent to deal with these mysterious aliens. They end up having their hands full dealing with these alien insurgents and the mysterious cargo brought from the planet below. By the time Thrawn and Vader get back aboard, the Grand Admiral asks the Dark Lord to trust him, as Skywalker once did, in dealing with these aliens. Vader reminds him that Anakin Skywalker is dead, and Thrawn responds with disbelief in his voice, saying, "So I've been told." Eventually, Thrawn discovers the indicator hyperspace blocking technology that is being cloaked and used by these aliens. Vader's trust is eventually paid off when the Grand Admiral is able to destroy the force that kept them from making the direct hyperspace jump to Batuu in the first place. At this point, Vader is able to conclude that Thrawn and the Emperor were keeping information from him and demands to hear it, but is once again asked by Thrawn to trust him as they make their way to Mokibja, where the newly discovered Grisk alien race has a base. Padme eventually convinces one of the local factory workers who has been aiding her into sneaking her into an unused part of the factory. From there, she meets two more who assist her into taking out two battle droids who will soon identify her, since she does not have the armband like everyone else who works there. Anakin and Thrawn are crafting their escape when all of a sudden he stumbles into Padme. They both have to use all of their restraint to avoid having their relationship discovered by Thrawn, although he has his own suspicions. After Anakin introduces Thrawn and Padme, they agree to split up. Anakin goes to save R2 and figure out what the Separatists are up to, while Thrawn and Padme go to the courtyard to retrieve his lightsaber. When the Chimera arrives at Mokibja, Vader and his Stormtrooper Legion are sent to deal with the Grisk and their base, while the Grand Admiral and his ship go to battle against the Grisk in space. Vader and the Stormtroopers are met with heavy resistance, but the Dark Lord exercises strategy and uses his spare suit of armor as a diversion for himself and his Stormtroopers to finally take the aliens down. What they discover next is even a shock to Lord Vader: Chiss female children. Vader is furious and confronts Thrawn about his loyalties between the Empire and his people when he arrives back on the Chimera. Thrawn takes this opportunity to divulge the rest of the truth that some of his people are force sensitive when they are children. Most are female, and the ability fades when they reach adulthood, but the Chiss Ascendancy uses the children in place of computers to navigate and make jumps throughout the unknown regions to various destinations. Thrawn has the children brought on board and put in special quarters. Now, the Dark Lord realizes the disturbance that the Emperor has sensed is these children. Thrawn informs Vader that the Grists discovered these children and kidnapped them for their own purposes, which is domination, and if they are not stopped, they will press into the known galaxy. He also uses this opportunity to tell Vader the Chiss language translation for those who use this ability are called Skywalkers, further hinting at him knowing who Vader really is. After some convincing, Thrawn is able to get Vader to use the Force in the same way as his people do to navigate the location in the unknown regions where the rest of the hostile Grists are located. To the Dark Lord's surprise, he is able to do this, but the ability completely exhausts him. As Thrawn and Padme are met with resistance on the roof while obtaining Anakin's lightsaber, the Jedi Knight is able to rescue R2 while noticing some odd metal near some B-2 battle droids that are being assembled in the factory. Anakin is met by the Duke and his battle droids, who begin to hunt him down. Thrawn attempts to leave as the ship comes to his and Padme's rescue, stating that his mission is over and that he must return to his people. She tries to convince the Chiss warrior to stay, but is given back Anakin's lightsaber and is bid a farewell. Eventually, Padme gets back to Anakin and gives him his lightsaber to fight off the B-2 battle droids pursuing him. As he moves in to attack one of them with a lightsaber strike, his weapon is all of a sudden deactivated, nearly costing him his life. He tries to attack again and gets the same result. He even tries to deflect the bolts, but they are absorbed by this Kratosis armor. Anakin then realizes that these battle droids are resistant to blaster fire and render lightsabers useless. He is then surprisingly rescued by Thrawn, who uses a Chiss lightning weapon to overload the droid's circuits. At first, Anakin thinks the droids are a separatist plot to help defeat the clones and the Jedi. Thrawn tries to convince him to leave the droids there and just sabotage them instead of destroying them and alerting the separatists. Therefore, the Republic and the clones and the Jedi have a chance of defeating them when they are finally unleashed upon the Republic. Padme has the factory workers she met earlier clear the factory and the mines, and she confronts the Duke of Sereno, who is wearing clone armor. Anakin and Thrawn soon discover Kratosis clone armor on the other side of the factory. Thrawn tries to warn Anakin that this is a bigger plot than he realizes, even worse than an infiltration of Coruscant, as Anakin suggests. He hints that this is an attack against the Jedi Order and the Republic. Anakin ultimately goes against Thrawn's advice and destroys the factory, even after Padme begs him to consider the lives of all the people he will be affecting. But in his mind, he feels he is doing the right thing, although it clearly causes a rift in his relationship with Padme. Before departing, Thrawn tries to warn Anakin unofficially about Order 66 and the doom of the Republic once more. Unfortunately, the Jedi brushes it off as they part ways. When the Chimera catches up to the Grist Space Force, Thrawn permits Vader to take command of his TIE Defender Squad to engage them. Vader pushes this prototype to its full capabilities as him and the squad easily eliminate the remaining alien insurgents. This brings back some painful memories as Anakin from the Clone Wars, as he has to brush them off. He then sees another ship leaving the battle and tries to pursue it, but it makes the jump to hyperspace before he can even get close. This ship ends up being from the Chiss Ascendancy, where Thrawn used the opportunity to return the kidnapped children to his people. He is finally able to clear the question of his loyalty with Vader, convincing him that he can help his people while still serving the Empire. Thrawn brings up Anakin Skywalker one last time, and when Vader corrects him, saying the Jedi is dead, Thrawn replies by saying he knows. This implying he knows Darth Vader was once the Jedi that he had met on Batuu so many years ago. He then states that he will never bring this matter up again, but he will always honor the legend of Anakin Skywalker. Vader then takes the opportunity to compliment Thrawn on the TIE Defender project, giving him some advice on improving the weapons, shields, and making the controls easier for Imperial pilots to use. Ultimately, he gives the project his blessing and says he will show his support of it to the Emperor over the Death Star project when they arrive back on Coruscant. Alright guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the official summary of Thrawn Alliances by Timothy Zahn. Make sure to check out my honest review of Thrawn Alliances if you haven't done so already. Also, make sure to watch our first video, which is What If Darth Vader Survived Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, Part 1, as this Friday we will be releasing Part 2 to that exciting fanfiction story. I don't want y'all to be confused or feel left out. Thank you again for taking the time to check out this video and for supporting our channel. Please give us a like, comment with your thoughts and opinions and suggestions below, as they will be used in future videos and I will engage you in those comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Star Wars Unleashed for more amazing Star Wars content brought to you 3 days a week, always with the fan fiction on Fridays. Remember to stay tuned for this Friday to get Part 2 of What If Darth Vader Survived Return of the Jedi. May the Force be with you, and remember,
Asshole, what you have done.